This is Tim Rowland, and you're watching the Rowland Rant. 4,500 years ago, the designer of the Great Pyramid of Giza posed for sculptors with his shirt off. I wouldn't say he was huge, but he had some rolls of fat and man breasts going on. And he seemed pretty proud of it, too. Otherwise, he would have been wearing one of those giant, oversized t-shirts that says, "Not tonight, ladies, I'm just here to get drunk." Being fat back then was cool, a sign of prosperity. But somewhere in the last 4 millennia, we lost our way. 2 recent pieces of news showed just how far we've strayed. The first was one of those panting, alarmist stories that says if you were obese, you could lose 3 full years off your life. My first reaction was, 3 years? That's it? Why in the name of Richard Simmons do I try to stay in some kind of reasonable shape if all it gets me is 36 lousy months? Maybe this sounds significant to you, but let me ask you this. What exactly do you plan on doing between age 84 and age 87 that is so all-fired important? So you get to place an extra 40 bets at the dog track. Whoopee. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Florida just isn't going to miss you that much. Yeah, some people lead rich, fulfilling lives into their 90s, but most are warehoused at the home where, on a good day, you don't choke on the pulp in your tomato juice. What is there to do except talk to the other folks about what pills you're on and what allergens have been added to your medical alert bracelet? Really, if this choice boils down to a lifetime of ribeyes, cheesecake, and Samuel Adams versus 3 extra years at the end of it all, what are you going to pick? The other interesting news is about a 1997 drug study that was covered up for more than a decade, presumably because the results weren't what the pharmaceutical company wanted to hear. The study showed that a new antipsychotic drug may have worked well enough, but it caused patients to gain 11 pounds a year. Naturally, people are getting worked up about the study being buried, but I think we're potentially missing the bigger point. Were these people feeling better because they were taking the drug, or because they were getting fatter? In my experience, people who weigh 400 pounds are generally only depressed about one thing: the fact that they weigh 400 pounds. Everything else is pretty much okie dokie to them. It's the skinny people who have all the anxiety. So here's my medical theory. Thin is good for physical health, fat is good for mental health. One isn't necessarily better than the other. So I think all these health skulls should take all their talk about body mass indexes and stick it up their skinny little tuckuses. In his statue, that architect from Giza looked pretty happy to me. This is Tim Rowland, and you've been watching the Rowland Rant. Yeah, those